Good evening. You're listening to a story recap from a live role-playing session of the modified version of the TTRPG, Blade Runner. I ran this session with just one player and some modified rules, and then after the session ended, I wrote down the recap of the story as we played it. There is no additional fiction that I added to this story other than what we played. So almost all of the content in this recap depicts live roleplay. Let's get started. Can you get the noodles? Just the cheap ones. Vesper's significant other closed the fridge before Vesper closed the door on the apartment she shared with him. Since she went back to work at the LAPD, he's been shy about going out. Now he complained. The prices are going up on everything. The good noodles are 10 Chinyan more than they used to be a week ago. They're missing a few other items, he said, but he could get those. Except for the cheap noodles that are down on Sector 5, downtown. The cheap noodles? Sure, she said. She took a mental note and headed to the station. Her spinner bike soared across the sky above LA in the year 2037. Last year, replicants joined the police force. Then Vesper rejoined after an injury this year. They said having replicants in the LAPD was complicated, but the rain falls on us all, human or replicant. Vesper could do complicated. Her bike banked a wide arc, her taillights cutting a fine curve across the massive corporate logos in the afternoon clouds. The police chief coughed. It's a hostage situation with a twist. We thought it started with a kidnapping, but shit hit the fan fast. The CEO of Ocean Financial put in a missing persons case for his daughter. The report was simple. Her name's Rami Stratton, and her dad, Feng Stratton, runs Ocean Financial. Well, he did, up to about an hour ago. The top 3 floors of Ocean Financial are crawling with replicants now. The leader is a soldier model, Nexus, probably a Nexus 8. He calls himself Axel, and he just sent in a bunch of demands, and he has Feng Stratton himself hostage in his own office. Heck of a day, right? I called you in just to find the daughter, but a couple of street cops already spotted him. They're watching him. They see the daughter? They haven't moved in. Well, you're the expert. She's in the company of a replicant. Go take care of Feng and his daughter. Out in the busy halls of the LAPD, Vesper consulted with the holographic Blade Runner briefly before calling up an armed force and a negotiator. It would take some time before they'd be ready to retake Ocean Financial. In the meantime, Vesper got the address of where the cops were following the daughter. Turned out they weren't far. In fact, the Ocean Financial logo, already a gaudy fake blue wave crashing in an invisible shore, shined blue light down onto the address where 2 plainclothes cops waited for Vesper. It was a 100th floor bistro, a restaurant for the high-income, high-altitude crowd, and it was lightly crowded. It wasn't common for Vesper to use a 100th floor landing pad, but it wasn't the first time for her. One plainclothes cop rushed to meet Vesper, recognizing her at once. She spotted the other cop at a table a respectful distance from the bar. where the only laughing couple in all of Los Angeles might be. She wore a crisp red jacket. He wore a white suit with a loose white necktie. It was Rami Stratton, the wealthy heiress of Ocean Financial, and the Nexus 9 alleged in kidnapping her. They've been sitting there for over an hour, drinking and eating and drinking. Behind them, Vesper didn't see any restraints on the girl. She was having a good time for someone who was supposed to be kidnapped. We've got them under close surveillance. Like, if any, Vesper brushed past him, and the host, and a bistro patron, a server, a corporate worker already drunk in the afternoon, and she went straight to the bar. The Nexus 9 noticed and intercepted her. Wait, you're a cop, right? What are you doing here? Her dad said he was going to call off the missing persons report. We're not... Vesper cut him off and ID'd him. He's a Nexus 9, NX9ROM 3.0-8. You've been here all afternoon, so you don't know about any of the situation back at Ocean Financial? Rami hugged the Nexus 9, drink still in hand. Romeo, who's this? You promised another round. Vesper leveled her eyes on Rami. So you're not kidnapped. You've been here. We've wasted valuable police resources looking for you when we need every cop on hand to deal with a hostage situation. Rami blinked, her face going flat. Hostage situation? Is Daddy in trouble? Vesper didn't answer her. Arrest these two. Stick her in a holding cell. Run his baseline, then hold him. What? No, Rami said. Romeo fell in line with one of the plainclothes cops, putting handcuffs on him. Vesper's helmet was already on, so she didn't hear any more of the spoiled brats whining. In another 5 minutes, she was back on her bike and back in the air, rendezvousing with the backup she wanted for the hostage situation just 2 buildings over. She could hear the LAPD negotiator's voice over the radio, and he was talking to a man in charge, the man in charge, ranting as the negotiator asked him questions. On a video feed and heat camera, she could see this giant-shouldered man pacing around Fang Stratton's desk with a giant crowbar on his big shoulders, far too heavy for any human to lift. We deserve the money Ocean promised us. You think you can you can trick us, the replicant underground? We're everywhere. You promised money, you promised cars. Well, where is it? We're tired of waiting. Replicant underground, replicant underground. The others joined in the chant, replicant underground, replicant underground. The Replicant Underground was an organized crime group with a political activist edge, or activism with a criminal edge. Freedom for next states, usually by any means necessary. If Ocean Financial promised to finance their activities, well, that's a big deal, and against the law, even if they went back on their word. Fang Stratton was alive, sitting still and looking about as happy as it could for a man who broke both the law and pissed off the criminals. Maybe he was thinking about his daughter. Vesper and a hit squad of officers docked on the building just as more police cars arrived to circle it. They climbed stairs, taking out 1 or 2 gunmen. Over their headsets, they could hear Fang getting an earful of Axel's anger. They got turned around in the one hallway, doubling back while Axel demanded a fast car, his own spinner. No more waiting. They have the money in the building. He was shouting and stuttering. The stairwell echoed with the cop's boots, and at the last minute, Vesper slipped into the office, gun up. Just as it looked like Fang might finally pay with his life, she stepped out of hiding, getting Axel's attention. She stepped forward slowly, leveling her sidearm, as cops surrounded the other assailants. It's over. In response, Axel hefted the giant crowbar across the room. It swung a mile wide and missed embedding a foot deep in the wall. Then he jumped through the window. All the other assailants did the same. Axel was getting his car. His superhuman jump landed him on the windshield of a police car. He yanked out the unfortunate cop inside, and as the car started to fall, he wriggled into the driver's seat. Vesper had already summoned her spinner bike. Her sleek ride zipped to the window, and she didn't wait for it to stop before diving to chase him. She raced gravity while Axel struggled to work his controls. They were falling from 100 stories up. No matter how far up they were, the chase could only last so long. Vesper caught up. Watching Axel smack at the police screens and control panels, she fired a single shot into the anti-gravity engine and let Axel hit the alleyways in a dark, thundering crash. The massive replicant was crawling out of the wreckage when Vesper alighted nearby. Axel's fingers gripped the concrete, pulling his body forward to who knows where. She stepped up and scanned his eye. NX8-AX.L3-1A. With a Nexus 8, just living was a crime, and this one had a rap sheet too. 2 shots, and an eyeball later, she was back on her bike. It had been a long day. Almost none of the other replicants who jumped from Ocean Financial survived, and the ones that didn't really need a professional Blade Runner to kill. Vesper logged the replicants back at the LAPD headquarters and was about to head home when one of the standard cops from earlier came up. "We ran the baseline on that Nexus 9 you sent. He's clean. The girl, though, she's in the holding cell, but something's off. She might be... I don't know. Could she be a replicant? I don't know. No way am I going to ask her. If she is, she'll kill me." Vesper nodded. She went to the holding cell. Up and to the left, Rami Stratton. The spoiled brat facade was gone. Instead, she was very still. She looked up and to the left. Vesper's scan found a number on the cornea of the young woman's eye. NX8-R81M-.1. There might have been a tear, too. For a Nexus 8, just living was a crime. "Go ahead. Do it." Her eyes squeezed shut. "I'm ready. I've been Feng's wife during the blackout. He got older and I didn't age much. At least not the same. Now I'm his daughter and I can't even buy a sandwich without a chaperone. It's over anyway. Go ahead." Vesper didn't move, except her thumb to delete the scan. "This is your only warning. Do you understand me? That's it." Rami shook. Then she was the spoiled brat. Her eyes squeezed shut. A few tears shot out. She ran down the hall to where the cops were bringing Romeo back, and she was the little scared girl again. Vesper looked away, but didn't leave her desk until she'd filed charges against Rami's father/former husband for financing terrorists, or attempting to anyway. Vesper went home, but she remembered to stop for groceries. "Hey, did you get the cheap noodles this time?" that familiar warm voice said from across her apartment. "I forgot. Guess we're having the good ones instead."